Hey everybody, I want to make a video for you today on the song Bubbles, Bangles, and Beads. I've taken a deep dive into this tune over the last couple of days. It was a song that Larry McKenna had shared with me at a lesson maybe 35 years ago when I was studying with him at Temple University. Larry loved to share these beautiful standards. It's kind of how he taught. He would write out solos over these standards. And Bubbles, Bangles, and Beads was one of those songs for that week. But for whatever reason, I mean, I love the tune, but I never really played it on gigs. So I never really took the time to investigate it. I just kind of learned it for that week. But for I don't know why, I've been thinking about this song. So I did a deep dive on it, listened to a whole bunch of different recordings, almost all vocalists, by the way. You know, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Peggy Lee, you know, a bunch of people singing this song. I like listening to singers when I try to learn these standards. I actually went back and listened to a recording from the musical Kismet, which is what it's from. And this song is absolutely brilliant. And the way to remember this tune is to understand the idea of major thirds, because that's how this song moves. For me, I don't just memorize tunes, memorize a melody, and then memorize the chords that go with it and do it in one key and kind of not think about the larger idea, the larger construction. If I just did that memorization for like a gig, I'm gonna forget it. I have to have a larger application that makes sense to me. So for example, this Bubbles, Bangles, and Beads, if you understand major third from a given root. So for example, Bubbles, Bangles, and Beads, a standard key to do this in would be A flat. So the major third from A flat would be C. The major third from C is E. Now, if you understand that relationship, by the way, augmented triad, this whole tune is basically built around those three key centers. So if I understand that the first section is built around the one, the second section transposes basically to the major third, the third section transposes up another major third, it's really a lot easier for me to take this tune through multiple keys. And also knowing where the melody starts, the melody starts on the 6. So if I know that, it helps me figure the melody out, especially after I've immersed myself in recordings and know what the melody is supposed to sound like, because I've heard a bunch of vocalists sing it. So chord-wise, here's what you need to understand. So we're in the key of E flat. I'm in the key of A flat, sorry. And this tune, Bubbles, Bangles, and Beads, starts on the 2 chord, B flat minor, E flat 7. Then it's like a 1 chord in A flat over a C. Passing diminished. 2, 5, 1. Now this is where the understanding of major thirds helps. So again, the major third away from A flat is going to be, correct, C. So now I'm going to do that same exact progression in the key of C. 2, 5, 1. C over E, passing diminished chord, which is a E flat diminished, D minor, G7. Now, here's some brilliance. Now we're going to the key of E, but I'm going to go, so it's a 2 chord, but the melody note is going to be there. So 2, 5, 1 in the key of E. And then I use that same melody note, but now it's 2, 5 to A flat. Same melody, but he changes it. There. Oh, man, that's brilliant. 2, 5, 1. Sorry, messed up the melody there. 3, and this is where I like to use a secondary dominant. 2. Yeah, then the melody is a little bit strange there at the end. I don't know if that was exactly correct. But if I understand those 3 ideas, those 3 major keys, A flat, C major, E major, and I understand 2, 5, 1 in each of them. Then Baubles, Bangles, and Beads, it ends up being an easy song for me to remember, not just for a gig, but kind of forever. Because I remember, oh, the Baubles, Bangles, and Beads is basically built off of if I'm doing it, whatever key I'm doing it in, that augmented triad. They're the 3 key centers. And that makes sense to me. Now, there's one other song that is very similar to this that, again, helps me. When I was studying Baubles, Bangles, and Beads over the last couple of days, I thought, oh, this tune is constructed the same way as this one. Passing diminished. 2. That's all in the key of A flat. Guess what key that goes to next? Yeah, it's the major third, C major. And that's like the first half of T for 2. So again, if you understand these large ideas, these large harmonic ideas, when you do the deep dives into the songs and you really try to pull back all the harmonic layers, like how is it constructed? If you can think larger idea, macro harmony, not micro, not chord to chord to chord to chord, but where am I key-wise? And then, oh, are there any big patterns? Like for instance, these 2 tunes are built off of 1 key and then the melody into the major third away. And then in the case of Baubles, Bangles, and Beads, another major third away. So what's the most important thing to learn? The melody. Make sure you know the melody first. And that's why I listen to as many vocalists as possible. I did listen to one instrumental version, which was killin'. Christian McBride had a version with Roy Hargrove that it was great, of Baubles, Bangles, and Beads that you can check out. But great tunes, both with the same idea harmonically. Harmony, moving in major thirds, the keys a major third away. And in this instance, A flat, C major. All right, so here's my encouragement to you all. When you're learning tunes, think big harmony, not just chord to chord to chord to chord, but where am I? And is it moving to different keys? And is that relationship something that maybe appears in other tunes as well? And that will help you remember songs, having larger ideas. All right, hope this helps.